Hello everyone, this is Mr. Sachin Kharade, Assistant Professor, Kekewa College of Agricultural Biotechnology, Nasik, going to deliver a topic on test tube fertilization and its application inside the plants. So, the test tube fertilization involves formation of embryo outside the body in a test tube by the fusion of male and female gametes. So, diagram itself indicates that you can fuse a male gamete and female gamete inside the test tube and it will leads to the formation of embryogenesis. So, first of all, we should know what is meant by in vitro conditions. So, in vitro means experiment performed or taking place in a test tube or a culture dish or elsewhere outside the living organism. We can call it as a in vitro conditions. So, we should know about the in vitro pollination or term in vitro pollination involves aseptic pollination of cultured pistils or ovules to achieve a pollen germination, pollen tube growth and its entry into a embryo sac, double fertilization and subsequent development of embryo and the endosperm. So we can develop a embryo from this in vitro pollination. So there are the task of the plant breeder can be made difficult by any of the following eventualities. Uh, there may be a pollen fails to germinate on a stigma, or the growth of pollen tube in the style is partially, or no fertilization takes place, or the fertilized egg cell does not develop in vivo and it will get abort. Then abscission of ovaries occurs permanently. So there may be a different task that will difficult a breeder that will difficult to prepare or uh, to develop a hybrid plant from the two different plants. So, if no fertilization takes place after self pollination or cross pollination, then it is referred as self incompatibility or cross incompatibility. So, in vitro fertilization is of particular importance if the incompatibility is present on the stigma or in the style. So there may be different types of in vitro pollination involves. There may be a stigmatic pollination, placental pollination, ovular pollination, or ovarian pollination. So first of all, we will see stigmatic pollination is the application of pollens to the stigma inside the test tube and it will leads to the formation of embryo. So it will, we can call it as a stigmatic pollination. So if application of pollen to the ovule attached to a placenta inside the test tube and it will leads to the formation of embryo, we can call it as a placental pollination. Then ovular pollination means application of pollens to the egg-sized ovule, we can call it as a ovular pollination. Then ovarian pollination means application of pollens to the egg-sized ovary and it will leads to the formation of embryo. So these are the different types of in vitro pollination we can perform, but we have to perform these all pollination inside the test tube and inside the artificial conditions. So this is the flower picture. From that picture we will know about the various parts of flower. We can see petals, then stamen, then anthers, sepals, then stem, then ovary, style, stigma. Huh? So from that information we can separate down the various parts of flower, and it will very much important for the pollination or in vitro pollination inside the test tube. So first one is the stigmatic pollination. So pollens from a ripe anther which has been excised or externally sterilized is then placed on the stigma. It is similar to the fertilization in vivo method. Using stigma fertilization, success has been achieved with Nicotiana rustica, Nicotiana tabacum, Petunia viosea, then Anthurium majus. So these are the some different examples in which scientists have performed a stigmatic pollination. We can see in the diagram there is a ripe anther which has placed on a stigma, so it will fertilized inside the test tube and it will leads to the formation of embryo. Then next one is the placental pollination. So placenta explant with unfertilized ovule are dissected under a stereoscopic microscope and inoculated on a nutrient medium. At the same time, anthers are opened under sterile conditions and the pollen grains placed near to the ovules. So, after this, we have to incubate this culture inside the culture room, and that will then after it will leads to the formation of embryo. So we can call it as a placental pollination. Then third one is the fertilization of an isolated ovules without a placenta. So this method is same as in a two form and time that the ovule is isolated in vitro. So there has been little success with this method since it is extremely difficult to induce a embryo formation in vitro fertilized ovule. So there is a three different types of pollination. It may be stigmatic pollination, ovarian pollination, and placental ovulation. We can see there is a picture of flower. We can isolate ovary pollens and the ovules, and from that we can perform a fertilization by male and female gametes inside the test tube, and it will leads to the formation of embryo, and embryo get developed inside the whole plantlet. So there is a different applications of in vitro fertilization in plant breeding. The techniques of in vitro pollination has a potential application inside the various areas. So first one is the overcoming self incompatibility. So we have already discussed about the self incompatibility. So if we want to overcome this self incompatibility, we can go for the in vitro fertilization. Likewise, we are overcoming cross incompatibility. For cross pollinator crops, we have to if we want to overcome the self cross incompatibility inside the cross pollinated crops, we have to perform this technique in vitro fertilization. Then third one is the haploid production through the parthenogenesis. Also we can produce a haploid plant from this in vitro fertilization. To produce a stress tolerant plant by this technique. So there are some disadvantages for this in vitro fertilization. First one is the proper stage of flower. So for this in vitro fertilization, we need a proper stage of flowering. So if we not get unopened flower, there is no any success inside the embryo formation. So flower stage is very much important inside the in vitro fertilization. Second one is the contamination. So contamination is the major problem inside the in vitro cultures. So there is a tremendous growth of microorganisms and fungus and different bacteria. So from that contamination our culture may get uh, our culture may get disturbed or may get contaminated. So there is a contamination is the major problem. Third one is the low success as compared to the natural fertilization. There is a low success as compared to the natural fertilization. So with these disadvantages, this technology has tremendous applications inside the plant breeding. So with these information, we can conclude that if there is a self incompatibility inside the plant or cross incompatibility inside the plant, or there is a number of eventualities we have already seen inside the second or third slide, we can overcome these self incompatibility or cross incompatibility by this in vitro fertilization, and we can produce a embryo in such a plants. So we can stop here. Kindly like this video and subscribe the channel. Thank you.